So, trouble over at Warner Brothers. David Zaslav, Zazzy, is reportedly leaning to make co-CEO of DC Studios Peter Safran the new head of Warner Brothers, replacing Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi. Simultaneously, there are rumors Zaslav will initiate a search for a new leadership instead. Wow. Okay, so that's pretty crazy. Let me try to explain this and TLDR this for you, because some of you guys probably are like, what the hell? So Peter Safran is the co-president of DC Studios. DC Studios is the studio that was created for James Gunn and for Peter here. And the whole idea was, before DC Studios, all of the DC stuff was under Warner Brothers. So it would come through DeLuca and Abdi, and it was not its own studio with its own assets, with its own way of doing things, its own contracts, et cetera, et cetera. So they create DC Studios just like Marvel Studios becomes a thing. And they wanted somebody to run it, and they basically, Zaslav was just going after that MCU stuff, right? So Abdi and DeLuca have been just dealing with the regular Warner Brothers stuff, and frankly, it has not been going well, right? Especially when you look at what has happened with Joker 2. I think Joker 2 is probably where the bottom fell out for those two. Joker 2 lost $1 bajillion. And the thing that's really different about Joker 2, and by the way, this was a Zaslav thing. It wasn't even them, but I'm sure he's mad and holds it against them. They only allowed one other investor for Joker 2. I know this might be like boring financial shit, but just listen to this. They only had one other investor. Normally you bring on a bunch. And the reason they did that is because they were so sure that Joker 2 was going to turn a profit that Zaslav and his greedy ass wanted all the profit for Warner Brothers. So they took on all the risk, and they got fucked hard because that movie lost a ton of money, dude, right? And we actually even heard some reports. I think Jeff Snyder had some reports out that Zaslav was mad at DeLuca and Abdi about this. Like, there was tension within the company. Now, another thing that we heard was that there's tension between Matt Reeves and Pattinson and James Gunn. And one of the reasons there's tension is because when Matt Reeves signed his contract, there was no DC Studios. Remember, I just told you, they created it when Gunn got the job. There was no DC Studios. So Matt Reeves didn't sign a contract with a studio that didn't exist. Matt Reeves signed a contract with Warner Brothers. He signed a contract with DeLuca and Abdi. And one of the things we've been talking about recently, which is kind of weird, apparently there are multiple people that have read the full script for the Batman 2. This includes Robert Pattinson. This includes Andy Serkis. Multiple people read the whole script. You know who hasn't read the whole script for Batman Part 2? James Gunn and Peter Safran. Seems like that might be about to change because if Abdi and DeLuca get the boot and Safran takes over, then all of a sudden the co-president of DC Studios is Reeves' boss. Oh no! Do you see the Game of Thrones level of gamification and weird angling and career trajectories? Do you see what's happening here? This is fascinating. This is a fascinating moment. You know, as we just talked about with Daredevil and Marvel, you know, if you really just take a step back and you can let it go a little bit, because I'm like, dude, I'm such a nerd that like it literally hurts, dude. It's a gut punch. Marvel, what? You know, I'm really fucking mad about it. But if you take a step back, the reality is entertainment's just changing right now. It's very obviously the case that a lot of people in Hollywood, they don't know what to do. They haven't been able to adapt to the change. It's a very interesting time right now. So Zaslav, of course, running this company, running the tech media side of everything that he now has as, you know, CEO of Warner's Discovery and all of that. He's looking at these changes. He's looking at the performance of these people. He's pretty frustrated. And there's another side to this story that could explain further what is happening here, okay? And it's pretty fascinating. So let's talk about this, because this was also in the Puck News article. Shout out to Matt Belloni. I gotta figure out how to say his fucking name better because his name isn't Baloney. I think it's like Bellany. I shouldn't call the dude baloney because people will say he's full of baloney. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is in that same article. Credit to Matt. James Gunn's Superman has almost incalculable importance to Warner Bros. Discovery, and there is reportedly genuine fear of the film studio going the way of 20th Century Fox, which was acquired by Disney in 2019. Oh my God. Check this out. From a WB veteran, an essential element of the stock price is believing that the IP of DC is meaningful. David Zaslav, big bet that they can show the world the DC IP can have real value. Superman is the first movie that will set the tone. They have a tremendous amount riding on it. Okay, so let me just explain. Let me just try to explain this in normal speak to all of you. Okay, Warner Bros. Of course, publicly traded company. Wall Street is kind of a game of value evaluation and timing, and it's all kind of made up. You know, it's like what people think something is worth gets kind of built into the actual value as more people buy in, et cetera, et cetera. It's like a literal buy-in, right? The point is, Zaslav is saying here, and a lot of the reporting around Superman is that things are so bad for Warner Brothers that they desperately need for the Superman movie to be successful, because inherent to Warner Brothers' value is the ability to show that DC, which they own, which is a comic book franchise, which, you know, is like Marvel, it is valuable IP. Now, what can we make of both of these stories together? Well, considering how desperate they are, and considering how much of a play the new DCU is for the stock price and for all this stuff that matters, I think if you look back to this story, and if you consider that Zaslav might become Matt Reeves' boss, I don't know. I mean, you could see why they might want to cut DeLuca and Abdi out of the picture, possibly cut Matt Reeves out of the picture, take his Batman, and actually try to make this DC thing work. You know, it's wild because I had said in my coverage, I think we talked about this late last week, maybe Friday. The truth is they have basically three options, and all of them suck except for if they get Pattinson to join. It all sucks because you either get rid of Pattinson and you do your own Batman, which is going to suck because everybody loved Penguin, except me. I thought it was garbage, but everybody loves Penguin. And then everybody loves the Batman movie, right? Not me. I thought it was garbage, but everybody loves that. So people are going to be really mad if you kill that for Gunn's Batman. Bad option. Option number 2, do both of them at the same time. Terrible. Maybe worse. It gives Gunn's Batman the ability to be outshined by a different Batman and make less money than a different Batman. Terrible optics. Terrible. The best case scenario, the only case scenario for them is to have both of them together. So we might be seeing some power play moves just to get to that outcome. What a wild time in entertainment, man. What a wild time in entertainment. And of course, if this movie, if Superman, I mean, we're sitting here, right? And we're talking about Marvel, we're talking about Disney Plus, you know, we're talking about the numbers, and it's bad, and those brands have been hurt pretty bad. If Superman underperforms, it could be the death of an entire studio. That's how ridiculous things are right now. Thanks for watching, and if you like this clip, smash a like on the actual video and subscribe to this channel. That way more of these clips get into your feed. I've also linked the full episode below if you want to check out the entire thing, including the Q&A we do with fans. You can also watch this show live. We do it live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can also find all of my content, including the videos I put on my main YouTube channel, on the podcast feed.